Psalm 23.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
This is one personal computer, and here are 15,000 processors. We are at the CERN Computer Center. This is the place where all data coming from the LHC experiments arrives. This data is stored on tapes, like the ones handled by this robot here. Here, we can store something like 40 million gigabytes, the equivalent of 10 million DVDs. Then the physicists from all over the world can access this information for their research. They use very high-speed network technologies installed at CERN. And by the way, everyone in the area benefits from them, as almost all internet connections in the Geneva area transit through here. The CERN Computer Center is also the starting point of the LHC grid. The grid is a worldwide computer with storage and computing power spread all over the planet in about 150 centers. Thanks to the power of the grid, it's possible to analyze the gigantic amount of data produced by the LHC experiments. Amazingly, we can see the data transfers in real time here. One can also find a very peculiar machine here. This machine, called Next, is not only one of the last of its kind, but it's also a historical item. It's on this workstation that the World Wide Web was invented by Tim Berners-Lee in the 90s. This is the very first web server in history. See you, Anna.
The Large Hadron Collider is a huge ring of 27 kilometers, and that's an accelerator where we accelerate protons in 2 different directions, and then they collide in 4 points. We are just above one of those colliding points at the Atlas experiment.
The accelerator itself is a time machine. The accelerator itself is a time machine. The accelerator itself is a time machine. And going up with energy allows us to go back in time. And going up with energy allows us to go back in time. And going up with energy allows us to go back in time and to reach just a tiny amount of time after the Big Bang.
We knew the world would not be the same. Few people laughed. Few people cried. Most people were silent. I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." I suppose we all thought that one way or another.
This is the gateway. Now, these three magnetic rings, when they align, it creates an artificial black hole.
You said the ship's drive creates a gateway.
Yeah,
To what?
I don't know.
Where did it go? Where did you send it?
I don't know.
Where's it been for the last 7 years?
Look, I don't know.
I don't know is not good enough, Doctor. You're supposed to be the fucking expert. I need answers. That's your job. Now the other place, where is that?
Don't know. I don't know.
So the main thing about portals, stargates, and dimensional gateways that you need to understand is that this stuff is real, guys. I mean, there's knowledge and technology hidden from us regarding opening up portals and stargates. Just look at all of the Stargate conditioning in our media. The TV shows Stargate, the original film, and also most films having to do with dimensional travel or time travel have Illuminati symbolism and programming within them. Like Back to the Future, a prime example. Also, just look up what they're doing at CERN. Google CERN Stargate, and you'll come up with all kinds of crazy stuff. And that's why, of course, the Trident is at CERN with Shiva. They got a statue of Shiva over there, which has been heavily covered. Also important to note is that the elite associate the pineal gland or the third eye with stargating, okay, with dimensional travel. They believe the third eye or pineal gland is a gateway, okay? They believe it's a gateway to travel to other dimensions, and that's why they feature that in all of their symbolism. And just like in Back to the Future, which is about dimensional travel, that's why they have the third eye and the pineal and the pineal symbolism, a great amount of symbolism in that movie. And just like one scene, there's a backdrop of a store that says the third eye, because that film is all about stargating, and that's what they associate that with. Now, based on my research on this stuff, it is my belief that the elite are trying to open up gateways where pure evil can merge with our dimensional plane.
And CERN itself, as many of already know, I'm sure, but CERN itself has the 666 in it, of course, and the whole thing, the whole logo is a three-dimensional shaft, a three-dimensional tower, and it's CERN, it's Cernunnos, god of fertility, the underworld, the horned god. Of course, fertility, because the alchemical fertility, male, female, red, blue, fire, water, the alchemy of the gate, of what they're doing to form a gate. As we know with CERN, opening of the pit, just like you see in the Mayan depictions of the same kind of instrument leading directly down into the pit, in search for the smallest particle, the ring. The ring, the whole thing being a ring, of course, but the ring, what is a ring? It's a tone, it's a vibration, a ring, and it's all to do with cosmic dance, tones, vibrations. CERN brought out a musical instrumental score of their information, remember? And this trailer is alluding to the opening of the pit. Which of course, as I say, keys, tones, frequencies, the ring, a phone rings, you know. So here we're in the barren land. Remember the barren womb on the bottom of that tower. They always show this barren land and the collide of light. We've actually got black and white there, which would represent the two pillars. But going down into the abyss, into the bottomless pit, and cracking open, unsealing what they are sealed in with the ring there. Total ritualistic stuff. Now, remember, it's Shiva in the ring. Shiva as the cosmic dancer who performs his divine dance. Shiva, the ring, just like the London Eye, the gates, the London Eye, Shiva. And at CERN they have obviously, as some of you may know, they have the statue of Shiva, the cosmic dance. That's what all of this is about. And the gate, one ring to rule them all. Here we go. Is that familiar thing in the car commercial I covered recently? You see this whole light particle collide stuff, and out of it in this one you get the aperture of the camera, the aperture being the eye, the lens, the iris, Siri, iris, lens, gate, and the collide of light, God particle. They believe that God is represented by this atomic power. From the abyss, all womb abyss stuff, demons trapped in there, of course, and that's what I believe they are trying to open.
The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window, or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
Okay, the best and simplest way I can put it is, if you've seen the movie Ghostbusters, it is exactly how it's portrayed in that film. I'm not kidding. If you think that sounds crazy, go ahead and watch that movie again after researching this stuff. In my opinion, it is exactly what they are trying to do. It all comes down to Saturn and this spiritual war at the end of the day. You know, so it's important to understand this stuff, guys. So remember in Ghostbusters that tower is used as a stargate, right, to bring hell on Earth. Of course, there's tons of Illuminati symbolism in Ghostbusters as well. The character Egon says it himself that the building's architect was a madman who started a secret society where they did occult rituals on the roof to bring about the end of the world, okay, to use the building as a spiritual antenna. So it just doesn't get any more blatant than this. It's pretty much, the building in Ghostbusters is pretty much the One World Trade Center. Okay, that's what I believe the elite are doing with this building, with the 9/11 towers. They are trying to bring hell on Earth, just like in this movie. Just Google 9/11 Stargate, 9/11 Mega Ritual, and you'll learn all about this stuff.
Something terrible is about to enter our world, and this building is obviously the door. They conducted rituals up on the roof. Bizarre rituals intended to bring about the end of the world, and now it looks like it may actually happen. Something terrible is about to enter our world, and this building is obviously the door.
Hey, Ray. Do you believe in God?
Never met him.
Yeah, well, I do. And I love Jesus' style, you know.
This roof cap is made of a magnesium tungsten alloy.
What are you so involved with that?
These are the blueprints for the structural ironwork in Dana Barrett's apartment building, and they're very, very strange.
Hey, Ray. Do you remember something in the Bible about the last days when the dead would rise from the grave?
I remember Revelation 7:12. And I looked as he opened the sixth seal, and behold, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became as black as sackcloth, and the moon became as blood.
And the seas boiled, and the skies fell.
Judgment Day.
Judgment Day.
Every ancient religion has its own myth about the end of the world.
Myth? Ray, has it ever occurred to you that maybe the reason we've been so busy lately is because the dead have been rising from the grave?
How about a little music? Yeah.
And we're talking about artificial intelligence here. We're talking about Al, the supercomputer, which ultimately they want everyone to be connected to this. And Al is 13, L is 12, and A is 1. Al 13, the supercomputer. And that's what they're psychologically preparing you for.
So that no one can buy or sell unless he has the mark, the name of the beast. He opened the shaft of the bottomless pit, and from the shaft rose smoke like the smoke of a great furnace. He opened the shaft of the bottomless pit, and the sun and the air were darkened with the smoke from the shaft. Smoke from the shaft.
So for all intent and purposes, that is the source, the womb of this matrix, or the matrix. The matrix is the womb. We've got Lucifer, the blinding ray of light. So this is the cube on one pole of Saturn. That's the cube. So for all intent and purposes, that is the source, the womb, matrix. When Christ died, the black cube was blown open. It was ripped open into the shape of a cross. Christ definitely did something spiritually which was amazing, in that he was a chink in the machine. He defeated the machine, the source of this problem, of this curse. And that's why he died on the cross, the unfolded cube. And behind the veil, which is also to do with the womb, the veil and the black cube, that was blown open. He went into the heart of the curse, the heart of the problem, and defeated it. And that's how he got us out of this mess. Should we choose to follow the straight and narrow way out of the loop, Saturn's maze, the loop that we are in. There's the moon involved with this as well. It's a matrix system. It's a machine. It's Lucifer's machine that runs this fallen reality, completely hijacked. Lucifer could not create anything, just rather hijack and use the knowledge for its evil schemes, because it made the choice in free will to rebel, and in some way we followed it and we ended up in this fallen reality. That's how, I think it's something along these lines. This sensory reality, this sensual reality. The Bible always tells us not to follow the flesh. The ray of light that illuminates this reality from Lucifer, Lucifer's machine. Saturn associated with Hades. And now you know why. Just listening to that, very abnormal sounds coming from that planet Saturn, and this picture is the proof entirely. There is no fear, because Christ has got us out of this if we should choose to accept the free gift of salvation in that he made the way straight. He took on the curse and he defeated the curse and is the only way to real life. So this picture here, you see that the black sun, just like the Pink Floyd album cover with the prism, the black sun there, it shows exactly that the black sun, which is Saturn, is that machine, just as we were showing with the Saturn and the machine and the refraction of the pure light into the spectrum which illuminates the material world. The machine that runs this reality, the black sun, Saturn. Now, we've talked before about the Hegelian dialectic, and this is exactly that. It's a Hegelian dialectic in the sense that it's a completely false and contrived battle. It's completely false and contrived because it is Lucifer's machine that runs this reality. So what runs this machine is the problem in the first place. So reversal of the machine, which is what they're trying to do in the destruction of the ox, of time and space. The spectrum, the rainbow, is the ox. Through the ox, the time and space manifestation of this material world, but it's Lucifer's machine. It's the pure light, bright white light of Lucifer running the machine. So to reverse the machine back to source, or back to this pure source of light, is not an escape. Because it's still going back to the problem in the first place, which is Lucifer's fallen reality, Lucifer's fallen kingdom. And this whole new age of love and light is still the same problem. It's the agenda of the new golden age, new spiritual golden age, to return to that source. It's the agenda of Lucifer and the elite. And that is exactly what they're doing. That's why they're demonizing the ox. That's why they're demonizing Satan. And that's why they're demonizing the machine, is because they want to reverse this. They want to reverse this spectrum, which you see coming out of the rainbow. They want to reverse that back to source. Now, how do you beat time? How do you defeat time? Faster than the speed of light. The spectrum being compressed into pure light. Now, I think this is what they're doing in CERN. Faster than the speed of light, recreating the conditions of the Big Bang, before the Big Bang. Back to source, transfigured world, transfigured. For the new age of Lucifer, the light. And they are hoping for this return to Eden, which is called the Golden Age. Complete and utter darkness, guys. We are in complete and utter darkness. Light can stop space-time. Light can stop space-time. And if you take the mark of the beast, which is this material fleshly thing right here, the ox, time and space, if you take the mark of the beast, of the machine, then you will be subject to the machine. You'll be marked complete. You'll be a one-way ticket to that womb, hell cube, whatever. Avicii, the lowest level of hell, the beast. Avicii is described in Buddhism as a cube, and that's what I believe. Like on Saturn, the cube, the machine. So they are demonizing. In all of these things, it always has the same, it always works in the same pattern. They are very limited on the way they work, because all they can do is copy, all they can do is fit by the rules that they are bound under. They are in prison, guys, they are in prison. All they can do is chase after what the Father does and try and destroy it. All they can do is work within the limits that they are bound. because they are not gods. They are not God. They are not the Father. They're not the true Father. They are nothing. Literally, they're defeated already. So when you see what the occult of these things mean, it's no longer all this big mystery. It's more like it's also tacky, and it is tacky because that's all they can work with. So they are trapped. We are living in a prism planet. We're living in a prism planet. What the senses, what you see, feel, touch, taste, smell, it's all part of this manufactured reality that we are in, because we fell here in some way, because we followed the deception. But don't be deceived. This is the final trick, guys. If you can get your head around this, then the great deception becomes blasted open like that cube. You blast it open, the great deception. All the great deception is the destruction of this into the spiritual new age of Lucifer, which will probably see a return of a false Jesus of some kind that will masquerade as light. The light beings that will come to earth and say that they are our saviours, and that is the great deception, the false return of Jesus. And it's going to be a massive Hegelian battle between the fallen. It's going to be a massive false battle between what is essentially all evil, but some masquerading as light, but it is not light, true light. It's the light of death.